Hello and welcome. In the world of data, we are absolute pros when it comes to neat, organized tables. But what happens when data gets, well, a little messy? Today, we're diving into two specialized neural networks that are built to handle the complex, unstructured world of images and sequences. Let's get into it. Right. For those of us who live in the world of relational databases, structured data just clicks. It makes sense. But then you look at a photograph or a sentence. How on earth does a standard model that's designed for neat rows and columns make any sense out of a picture of a cat or understand the nuance in a line of text? And that really gets to the heart of the problem. A traditional network will take an image and just flatten it. It turns it into one long, single-file line of pixel values. And in doing that, it completely obliterates the spatial information. The fact that one pixel is right next to another is totally lost. But that very structure is what gives an image its meaning. It's what forms the edges, the shapes, and the textures we recognize.
Okay, so that's the problem for images. How do we solve it? How do we get a network to learn to see the way we do by picking up on all those patterns and hierarchies? Well, the answer lies in a really brilliant architecture, the convolutional neural network.
A CNN is basically tailor-made for data with that grid-like structure, just like an image. So instead of flattening the picture out, it holds on to those crucial spatial relationships. And this allows it to build up its understanding of an image piece by piece, starting with simple little things like edges, then building those into shapes, and eventually all the way up to recognizing complex objects. That sounds incredibly powerful, but how does it actually pull it off? What's really going on under the hood? It actually boils down to two key operations that let a CNN spot features at different scales. We're talking about convolution and pooling. Let's start with convolution. I want you to imagine you have a tiny magnifying glass, let's call it a filter, and it's been trained to look for one very specific thing, like, say, a vertical edge. The whole process of convolution is really just sliding this filter across the entire image. At every single spot, it checks to see how strongly that feature shows up. The final result is a brand new image, called a feature map, that basically lights up everywhere that vertical edge was found. And the actual mechanics of it are brilliantly simple. The filter, which is just a small grid of numbers, gets placed over a little patch of the image. You multiply the numbers that line up, add all those results together, and that sum becomes a single pixel in your new feature map. And that's it. That's how a CNN starts to build a totally new, pattern-based representation of the original image. So, after convolution gives us these incredibly detailed feature maps, we often need to, make them a bit more manageable. And that's where pooling comes in. Pooling, or downsampling, is just a way to summarize the features in a certain area. It shrinks the amount of data, which makes the network run more efficiently, and, this is really important, it helps it recognize a feature even if it's been moved or slightly rotated in the image. A really common type of this is called max pooling. Here, we just take a region of the feature map, like a 2x2 block, and we just pick the biggest number from it. We're pretty much just asking, hey, what's the most important, most prominent feature in this little neighborhood? By doing that across the entire map, we get to shrink it down while holding on to the most important information. It's a simple idea, but it's an incredibly effective way to generalize. All right, we're about to switch gears from seeing pictures to understanding sequences. So if these kinds of breakdowns are helpful for you, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. That way you absolutely won't miss our next deep dive. Okay, so we've established that CNNs are the masters of spatial data. But what about data where the order of things is everything? I'm talking about things like natural language, stock market data, or really any kind of time series where the context and the sequence are what give it all its meaning. Just think about this sentence for a second. The words are exactly the same in both versions. But just by swapping two of them, you completely flip the entire meaning on its head. A traditional network that just looks at all the words at once would really struggle with this. We need an architecture that gets just how important order really is. And that architecture is the recurrent neural network, or RNN. Its big innovation is that it's designed specifically for sequences. It doesn't try to process all the data in one go. Instead, it works through it step by step, and that allows it to build up a kind of memory of what came before. So this whole ability to remember things, that sounds like the secret sauce, right? But how does it actually work? How does it carry the context from the beginning of a super long sentence all the way to the end to help it figure out what's going on? Here's the magic behind it. As the RNN processes each word one at a time, it keeps updating an internal state. You can think of it like a running summary or a memory.
So when it looks at the next word in the sequence, it considers both that new word and its existing memory. This updated memory is then passed along to the next step, which creates this recurrent loop that allows information to stick around through the entire sequence.
So, when you step back, what we have are two incredibly powerful but very different models. And it's becoming pretty clear that you wouldn't use a hammer to turn a screw, right? In the same way, solving these complex data problems really requires picking the right architectural tool for the job. And this really lays out the core difference. It all comes down to the structure of your data. If your data is laid out in a grid where what's next to what really matters, like the pixels in an image, then a CNN with its hierarchical filters is the tool you need. But if your data is an ordered sequence where context builds up over time, like the words in a sentence, then an RNN with its internal memory is absolutely the solution. So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? It's that once you move beyond those simple, structured tables and into the complex world of images and sequences, your standard approaches just aren't going to cut it. Success comes from really understanding the nature of your data and then choosing an architecture, like a CNN or an RNN, that is fundamentally designed to handle its unique structure. And that brings us to a really fascinating question for the future, doesn't it? We've managed to create architectures that can mimic, in a way, our ability to see and to understand language. So, what's next? Touch? Smell? As we get better and better at modeling the world's complexities, the possibilities are just truly astounding to think about.